Before I get started on the video, I just want to put this out there. We should be wise as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. That's what our goal is. That's what our goal is in the Hebrew community. So every white person is not your enemy, and every Hebrew Israelite, aka African American, is not your friend. But the infrastructure, which is governed by the majority white, is the enemy of the Hebrew Israelites. Just want to put that out there. So as you watch this video, I want you to know that you're wise enough to understand that I'm not going to let Satan do it like that to make it appear that I'm being racist or the Hebrew Israelite community is being racist. We're not. We are basically victims of racism, but we do recognize that every white person is not a perpetrator of racism, and every white person is not our enemy. Some of them fear and love Yah, but we know that there's a majority that hate us. Shalom. Here we go again. Here we go again. Welcome to Mother Africa Be Calling. I am Beswell Yahuda Yisrael, also known as Eric. So today, the topic is about them killing us again, right? So anyway, let's get down to it. Most of you probably already heard about it, and if you haven't, I don't see why not. So look, 30-year-old Jordan Neely was strangled, basically, put in a chokehold by 24-year-old Daniel Penny. You know, Jordan Neely was a black man, aka African American, known to me as a Hebrew Israelite, most likely. His parents or grandparents are the descendants of those who were stolen from Africa and taken in the transatlantic slave trade, then he will be a Hebrew Israelite. So most of us that are here that are labeled as African Americans are Hebrew Israelites. So now Daniel Penny is a white man, a European American, a white man, basically. Anyway, let's start off with what happened. So, according to reports, Mr. Neely was at one of the subway stations, I believe, in New York City, and he was having an episode. He had some mental health issues, but he was having an episode where he was talking out loud. He was talking about he was hungry, and he was, what we would call fussing. Anyway, nevertheless, which opened him up to become the victim of a homicide. So then, some kind of way, Daniel Penny decides that he's going to be a hero, right? And one way or another, he put this Hebrew brother in a chokehold. And consequently, the Hebrew brother, Mr. Neely, ended up dead. Okay, he cut his breath off long enough to kill him. Well, the media, boy, I tell you, boy, the infrastructure of this country with the media, the politics, and everything is all geared to destroy us, Hebrew Israelites, aka Black Americans or Negro, whatever I refer to us as Hebrew Israelites, because we are the seed of Abraham. Infrastructure is set up to make sure our lives are seen as nothing, seen as just you could throw them away, it means nothing. And while their lives, European Americans and any other nationality other than us, are valued as a life, in which it should be. The problem is that us as a people, we should, our lives are valuable as well. But see, the infrastructure is set up so with media, and media is the biggest tool they use to make us look like we're just deplorables and we're not worthy of living. So now this guy, he takes the breath away from this 30-year-old young man. And what does the media do? First of all, they withheld his name for a while. They wouldn't even release his name. Now here he is as a murder suspect. They wouldn't release his name. Then when they finally released his name, oh no, before they released his name, they were addressing him as a Marine Corps veteran. A Marine Corps veteran. See how the media, see how slick the media is? But it don't get over on me. See how slick they are? A Marine Corps veteran, right? So automatically they're putting giving him a status. They're placing it in the minds of the people. They're cleaning him up. Now here he is. He just murdered someone. The Marine Corps veteran. So it makes him look like he was doing something as a hero, right? And this is what they do. But then this is Mr. Neely, right? He's painted as a disruptor, a problem, a danger to the community. You know, it's like he needed to be restrained. And so, hey, it led to his death, but ultimately it's not the person who strangled him's fault, the person who put him in the chokehold's fault. It's his own fault. You know, this guy was just trying to help the community out. Just by accident, he ended up taking his life. So, you know, he did a good thing. So, look, pity on him, you know, feel bad for him that he have to live with the idea that he was trying to help, you know, the citizens of New York out, the community, and unfortunately, you know, he had to take a life in the process. You know, this is the kind of crap that they run with, the media, right? The media is our enemy. The media is our enemy. I'm telling you that media has portrayed us as everything that's not worthy of life. This has been going on since media forever in this country as far as with respect to us being here. I mean, during the times that we were kidnapped and put into bondage, we were portrayed as no more than monkeys or apes or this beast of the field where we needed to be beaten and whipped and treated like less than animals. Okay, this is what the media has always done, right? And so now this perpetrator, a murderer, then he gets 10 days to get his story together. They wouldn't even charge him. We had out, here we go again. We got a crowd to the justice system to do their job. All the, you know, the Hebrew Israelite community in an uproar, like this man need to be, you know, put in jail. You know, he should be charged. He killed a man. And why should we have to go through begging and stomping our feet to get law enforcement to do their job? Here it is, this man, he's not even police, but yet he did the same thing the officer did to Argana. Argana was put in a chokehold by the police, right? Argana put in a chokehold by police, and he ended up dead. And what's his name right now? It escapes me. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me. But anyway, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. But yeah, he's not even a police officer. What they try to do is say, oh, well, he's a Marine veteran, right? And so, you know, They finally charge him, but then they slick. They charged the man with second degree manslaughter, which if he's found guilty, if he's convicted and found guilty, the maximum time that he could get in prison for taking a life is 15 years, right? That's the max. They never give the max, especially to a white man. And on top of it, they're gonna use he was a Marine Corps veteran. They already started it, and on top of it, let's say he's never been in trouble as far as law enforcement, because a lot of times they get in trouble but it never gets reported. Law enforcement do not do their job because they looking out for them because they are white. Okay, so they could be criminals for years and be destructive, but never ever ever have to deal with the consequences of it, or it takes a lot to get them to deal with be dealt with. Right? I mean, it's light coming in. It's coming in right. Give me a second. Oh, it's making like a glare. Okay. A little bit better. So anyway, this is what they do. So the most he can get is 15 years. He's not going to get that, even if he gets found guilty, which is going to be hard to do because they're going to get the jury to be a jury of his peers, and they just going to look out for their own. They're going to make sure that they when they pick the jury pool, his attorney, he's going to strike anything, especially any African Americans that still got a light on. Give me a second. Let's see. See, got the stripes on my face. The direction of the sun is changing. Give me a second here. Alrighty. Hopefully that's better. Some stripes all over my face. So anyway, back again. So yeah, so pretty much, the attorneys are going to his attorneys are going to pick the jury if he takes a jury trial, not a judge. Because if he takes a trial by a judge, they're going to get a white man that's, favorable towards him. But let's say a jury trial. He gets a jury trial of his peers. They're going to strike down the African Americans, and they're going to find one, if they do, one or two that will be pretty much, they feel comfortable that they are going to go along with the majority. Anyway, let's say he gets convicted. He gets convicted with 15-year max, and he's never maybe been convicted before of any other crime. He might get 18 months probation. They may give him let's say 15 years is the max he can get. So then they might just give him a third of that, right? And that may be like 5 years. And then they may suspend all of it and give him a year probation. This is what they probably do. But here's the kicker right here that I want you all to see. He is now a millionaire for what he did, because they have sent him the last I heard, $2.4 million has been raised for him. $2.4 million. You know what he could do now, since they charged him with second degree manslaughter? He could just say, you know what, I'm gonna run with a public defender. Or he could get an attorney that's just not gonna, be a high profile attorney, and spend maybe $15,000 on his case. He still got over $2 million now for murdering a man. Now, these devils, right, sent him that money. See, we live among the seed of Satan, right? Because in the beginning, and this starts from in the garden. This starts from the garden. Let's talk about it. After Adam and Mother Hawaii, also known as Eve, after they disobeyed Yah's command and they ate of the forbidden fruit, and Shaitan, Satan, who coerced Mother Hawaii into it. And then she coerced uh, Father Adam into it. Once that was all done and Yah got with them, he said that, speaking to Shaitan, he said, I will put seed between your seed and the seed of the woman, right? So the woman has a seed, and so Shaitan, Satan, has a seed because he said he's going to put enmity between the two seeds. So, so now, the seed of the woman, we can follow the scriptures on through Revelations. We can go and we can find out the seed of the woman is the children of Israel. Okay, the seed of the woman is the children of Israel. The woman is the nation of Israel. Right? Is the nation. The woman is the nation of Israel. Let me prove that to you just by look Revelations. Let's see, Revelations 12, 3 and 6. I'm gonna go to Revelations 12, 3 and 6. I just want to just knock that out real quick. Revelations 12, 3 and 6. Give me a second here. I put these specs on now. Revelation 12, 3. Revelations 12, 3 through 6, and it goes, and another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns on his heads, 7 diadems. His tail swept down a third of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. And the dragon, which is the devil, stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child, he might devour it. See, Satan was standing before the woman, I'm telling you, is who is the nation of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites. Listen, 5. She gave birth to a male child, one who is to rule all nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to Yah and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by Yah, in which she is to be nourished for 1,260 days. Now think about that right there. She gave birth to a male child, one who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to Yah and to his throne. This says is not the Messiah Yeshua going to rule all nations with a rod of iron when he comes to return for the second time and bring his kingdom in. Okay, so the prophets, they let this be known, right? So now, think about it. So we know that the dragon, because it's Shaitan, right? Because he was thrown from heaven, and he took a third with him. He swept down a third of the stars of heaven, meaning the other angels. He was an angel. They were referred to as stars. So anyway, he is the one that's standing before as Yeshua, the man-child, was being delivered through the tribe of Yehuda, which is Israel, as he was coming forth through the womb of who they call Mary, but it's Maron. They married as she delivered Yeshua, as Yah had it happen that way. Shaitan wanted to kill him right there, but he couldn't. He couldn't do it. Why? Because Yah, right? Because he is the Messiah, and because of the power of Yah, and he wanted to devour. But when she gave birth to the child, then the child was caught up to Yah and his throne. So that meant that it was protected by the throne of Yah. It was he was protected by the throne of Yah. All right, so we established that. So we know now. I read that just to show you that enmity right there, which hopefully you understand it, that the nation of Israel delivered the Messiah through the womb of one of the Hebrew women, right? And Shaitan tried to use Herod, who was the king at the time, to find and kill Yeshua, our Messiah, at his birth. Didn't work because the angel of Yah came to Yosef, aka Joseph, and said, "Take the baby down into Egypt until that king is gone." So here we go right here. So we just established that about the seed, and then let me go on and I want to. It's another part that I want to prove too, that that now the nation is the nation. The nation is the woman, but each individual Hebrew is the seed, right? Let's go to Revelations 12 and 17. Let's go down to 17. I'm going to show you that. Revelations 12 and 17. Then the dragon became furious with the woman, with the whole nation, and went off to make war on the rest of her offspring, right? That means we keep reproducing. The offspring is reproducing, right? So it went to so the dragon, aka Shaitan, Satan, went to make war with the woman's offspring. Woman is the nation. The offspring is individuals being born up until now. That would be me. And that would be those are all of us who were scattered to the four quarters of the earth or four corners of the earth through transatlantic slave trade, right? Which was prophesied, okay, and said that we would go on ships in Deuteronomy 28. We are that offspring. Not only that, the other 10 tribes that are scattered about throughout Africa and mostly throughout Africa, the other 10 tribes, right? We are the children of Yisrael, and that's that seed that Satan hates. The enmity is there. Satan hates. He's a hater anyway, but he hates the children of Israel. He hates us more than any other nation that walks this earth. Why? Because we're his direct enemy, because Yeshua HaMashiach came out of us. When he came into the flesh, he was born through the tribe of Yehuda, aka Judah, right? And it says that what is he going to do to Shaitan according to the scriptures? What does it say? It says that you will bruise his heel, talking about Shaitan. You will bruise his heel, but he will crush your head, right? Yeshua is going to crush his head. He know it, right? So he cannot do anything with Yeshua HaMashiach. He can't do anything with Yah. But what does he do? It says Yeshua is the first of many brothers. He go after his family. We're the weaker ones out of Yah and Yeshua. We are the weaker, where he can get to us if we're not protected by Yah. We can't do nothing with him without Yahweh Yeshua. So therefore, that's why we got to live upright as a nation. We got to obey the commandments, because our only protection in this earth, because we belong to Yah, because we the chosen nation, he fights for us. Other than that, if he's not fighting for us and with us, we have no power. We're very weak. We're the strongest nation in the world, on the earth, from the time that Yah spoke to Abraham and told Abraham that he would make him a great nation. At that point, we are the most powerful nation on the earth. But yet, only if we obey. But if we don't obey as a nation, then we are the weakest, and it's proven. We're at the bottom of everything, right? Because we will not obey. But anyway, let's get back to this. So we established that there is a seed. Satan has a seed. We established that, and that seed has given what's his name again? Daniel Penny, $2.4 million for taking the life of a Hebrew Israelite. $2.4 million. They do it every single time, right? All right, I remember the name, George Floyd. His breath was taken from him, right? By the police officer, right? And so we know that that police officer had a lot of money sent to him too, right? And so Trayvon Martin's killer, George Zimmerman, same thing. He got paid. Same thing with the officer. I can't recall his name, but he shot and killed Michael Brown, right? He got paid so much money. He left the police department. He didn't even need no more money. So now this guy right here, Mr. Penny, he's set for life. Never heard of this kind of stuff for any other nation that you get rich for killing a member of that nation, right? I mean, only us, and that's why, because Shaitan will make them rich for killing us, because we are his number one enemy. As we rise, his kingdom falls. He does not want his kingdom to end. His number one goal is to take out the children of Israel. He first was trying to take out the Messiah, our salvation. It says that he stood at the foot of the woman during the delivery, trying to devour the child, right? Which is salvation, not just for us, but for us first, salvation. So Satan will pay whatever he can to encourage the rest of his seed to do his work. They get rich. The young white child, Kyle, I can't remember his name, Kyle Hamilton, I can't remember his name right now because it really means nothing to me. But anyway, he shot a few people. I think they were, some of them were of the white race, but nevertheless, it was because they were involved in marching at a rally for police brutality against black people. He showed up with a military assault rifle at 17 years old, ended up killing a few people. He got off, as we know, but yet he got a lot of money too, right? And so Satan's seed is sending money. They're sending money to the killers, those who killed the Hebrew Israelite, the aka African Americans, right? They get money, they get rich. So what does that do? That encourages the other ones that hate us, right? They're sitting on the sidelines saying, "Oh man, I would love to kill one, and then I want that money to get paid," right? And then they're protected from justice. I mean, it's rare. It's hard to get a conviction when a white person kill a black person. It's really hard to get a conviction, especially when they do it, when they try to do it like they claim that they're trying to protect society in some kind of way, right? So this is what where I'm going. Listen to where I'm going with this. I see nowhere in that Bible, right? And I spent a lot of time for many years in that word in the Bible. It's nowhere written in that Bible that I've seen that says that we as a nation or as an individual of the Hebrew nation must stay in the land of our captivity and wait for the Messiah to return, because he said he will gather us from the four corners. He will gather us from all the nations in which we were scattered, right? So that was to the four corners or four quarters of the earth. And we used to divide it into quarters, because if you look at that the corners, and I looked at it through the Hebrew, and it broke down. Eventually broke down to quarters. So the earth is divided into four quarters. So if it's divided into four quarters, we could be anywhere in those quarters, anywhere in Africa. It's a part of quarters. So he's going to gather us wherever we are, right? Wherever we scattered to. So anyway, but there's nothing written to say that if Yah give you the means to do it and you so desire to do it, that you have to stay in the land of your captivity and keep taking this abuse, right? Because you can deliver yourself from this, right? Because listen, this is not our homeland. This is the land of our captivity. For those of us who are waking now, we're woke, right? And some of us, like myself, woke up and realized I'm not home. Not only did I wake up to me knowing that I am a Hebrew Israelite and that Abraham is my great 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 grandfather. So many grandfathers out, but I have the blood of Abraham in me. Not only did y'all woke me up to understand and know that this is not something that is just that somebody just told me. No, this is an awakening where I was in Christianity and was going with that, and then it was something in me that just kept nagging at me, and that I was not comfortable with, and I kept seeking and seeking, like why this, why slavery, why that, and then y'all showed me who we are. Okay, so now not only did he wake me to who I am, but also then that awakening made me realize I'm not even home. But I always kind of felt that anyway, though. Even when I was young, I just felt like I wasn't home. So there was a spirit in me already. But it really set me up, really set it on me, as though I'm not home, right? I'm not home in this land. So I'm in the land of my captivity. So even if I migrate back to the continent of Africa, and but yet I do not go into the land that was promised to, the boundaries that was promised to our father Abraham, which was from the Nile River to the Euphrates River. Um, so even though if I do not go back in that area, still the whole continent of Africa is familiar to me as a home, right? Right? Why? Because our people, even though they in 70 A.D. that was the big big migration because of the Roman siege of Titus, we started, running and going all different places in Africa, and eventually, being picked up and taken up into um, Europe and all that stuff. But anyway, but we were all over the place in Africa, and a lot of us ended up around all over on the west side of Africa, right? All of which they call Ghana today and all that. But anyway, we got maps to show maps from the U.S. Congress and all that stuff showing that it was the land of Judah. That land was named after our ancestors while we were there before they took us in them ships and scattered us throughout the earth. Okay, it's the land of Judah, or Yehuda. So anyway, it's a lot there. I'm moving on, but I'm saying that why not, if you can afford to, if Yah has given you the ability to, and if He has not given you the ability to do it out, He has given it to you in your mind, right, in your hands, in your understanding, in your words, in your prayers. You can pray because Abba Yah owns everything. He knows and owns everything. We can pray and ask Him to make a way for us in the motherland, right? Because He can do it. And it goes along with everything that's about us, right? Because our skin, the melanin and everything is it's basically, it goes along with that region of the earth. Our hair texture, the woolly hair, because of the sun, right? So it's more healthier for us anyway, right? So, and even with the food and everything, I mean, think about it. Should a polar bear live down in the safari, or does the polar bear, is he better off living in his natural habitat, which is around the North Pole, around where the ice and everything, because his fur and everything, and the way the way the Almighty made him to be able to live in that environment, right? But if you take him and you put him down in the hottest parts of Africa, he may be able to survive, but it won't be as healthy as one who lives in his natural habitat, right? It will be stressful for him and everything, right? So now, us being here, right? it is stressful, right? Because we can't live normal lives. Why? Because we're always a target to be killed, right? Think about it. Think about it. It's been like that since slavery. They cannot lie about it. It is what it is, right? So now, and let me read this to you right here. Let me see. It is Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy. Let's see. 12. No, Deuteronomy 28:36. Deuteronomy 28:36. I want to go there for a second. I want to show you something. 28:36. And Yahweh will bring you and your king, whom you set over you, to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. There you shall serve other gods of wood and stone. And you should become a horror, a proverb, and a byword among all the peoples, where Yahweh will lead you away. So that's what happened to us, right? We ended up right there. We ended up, it's right here. Look, this fits no other people. We are in a nation that we do not know. And that our fathers that were brought over here on the ships. And guess what? What is the cross? A lot of times it's made of wood. And if you even go to some churches, you'll see the cross made of stone, whatever, wooden stone, the cross. And you in the stone part, you'll see an image of Cesare Borgia, aka Jesus, on it. And that's what we worship. We didn't know, our ancestors didn't know of this. This right here, this stuff was forced upon us. Even okay, look, even if you the church and Christianity, it's still evidence of it being forced upon us, of gods that we did not know. Of course, they use our books. They translated the Hebrew scrolls into English and put them in the book, and then they used it and manipulated it to feed it back to us. Now look at this. In Ghana, where they stole our ancestors from, their churches on top of the slave dungeons where they had church. And then before they sent you into the ship, our ancestors to send us throughout the earth, what they did was Christianize us. They gave us Christianity right there, right? Taught us about Jesus and everything. Took Yeshua HaMashiach out of it. And he became Jesus, the Christ. That's what they did. Right? And so that prophecy has come about, and it's just been that way. Let me do another one. I definitely want you to see this one right here. Deuteronomy 28:66. So this fits us right here. And it's definitely with respect to this discussion. This is right here. Look, 66. Your life, now while we're in this land of captivity, because we never went back home, your life shall hang in doubt before you night and day. You should be in dread and have no assurance of your life. We don't. We don't have no assurance of our life. We live in fear, in dread and fear of our enemies. Think about it. You don't know when the police pull you over as a AKA African American, Hebrew Israelite, AKA African American. You don't know. You don't know whether you're gonna make it out of there. And it's a scary thing when you get pulled over, knowing that they can just blast you away, and they know they can, and say they was in fear of their life, and they're gonna get paid a lot of money, and especially when they're a police officer, they're not gonna convict the police officer. Even when it's done on camera, when they show that you were no threat, they'll say, "Yeah, but he had fear. We can't measure his fear, and he had a split second to make a decision. He wanted to go home to his family. They put their lives on the line, and they don't have enough time to think. And evaluates the situation, they have to act, or otherwise they can lose their lives, and blase, 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 all this stuff, trying to make it seem like so, sorry that had to happen. Sorry that the African American, first they try to dirty the African American up there, look something on him. But if he had nothing on him, they'll just be sorry, maybe if he had um, complied with the officer, then it wouldn't have happened. He said, "Well, wait a minute, he did what he said, but maybe he should have just did it faster." They'll say anything, but they'll say, "Sorry, he lost his life," but the officer, he meant well. He just, it's just that, they don't have a lot of time. They have to make these split decision calls that we as the lay people who are not officers don't understand. That's the BS that they run, right? When it comes to killing uh, a Hebrew Israelite, aka African American. This is what we deal with, right? And because the infrastructure is set up like that, okay. So listen, our enemy has control of all law enforcement, right? All the law enforcement across the United States is controlled by whites. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that all white people are our enemies, because they're not, right? Some of them fear Yah and they recognize who we are, and some of them are against what their brothers and sisters do to us, right? But they're small in number, and it's not enough of them, and they're not making a change, right? So, so every white person is not your enemy, and every black person is not your friend, right? Or Hebrew Israelite. Some of them are the seed of Satan as well. Some Hebrew Israelites are the seed of Satan as well. Okay, so but let's talk about this infrastructure. It is set up whereas though all law enforcement, where the power, right, is, right, they got the guns and the weapons. All that is overseen and ran by, and they always have been, by white people, right? And because it's ran by white people, it is fully infiltrated. Even the FBI, all of them, CIA, everything has been dominated by not the whites that have no problem with, but dominated by the majority that hate us, right? So they're in control of the law enforcement, the military. They're in control of all the things that can wipe us out. Law enforcement, military. That's what all the weapons and everything are. And the infrastructure is set up where as though they control all that. They control the food, they control the water, they control everything. But yet we are living among them. They hate us and they control everything that can take our life. See how merciful Yah is with all that around us. We have an enemy that's got all control of all things to do what they want, but yet he's holding them back. Now, yeah, they periodically over the years just keep killing us and lynching us and hanging us and doing things. But see, Abba Yah, that's because we as a nation under the judgments of Deuteronomy 28, we will not as a nation understand, come up out of Christianity and all this other stuff and all these other things and Islam and all these different, and go back to the way that was given to Moshe and that Yahshua HaMashiach taught, right? Keep the commandments, love Yahweh with all your heart, fear him and love him, right? And walk in all his ways, right? And that means keep his commandments, right? And then love your neighbors yourself. We are our neighbors, just us. The Hebrew Israelites is speaking of us, meaning that we are a community. And so since we are a nation that's a community that's among ourselves, that's what it means when it says neighbor. Love your neighbor, not outsiders, not the other nations, but it says love your neighbor as yourself, meaning the Hebrew Israelites as a nation. Because when that was said, we were still living together. We wasn't scattered. We were a nation living together. So, Yeshua was saying, love your neighbor like your other Hebrew family member. So anyway, so we won't do that. We won't do that. We will not. We won't follow those commandments. We just He just won't do it. So therefore, yeah, we leave him with as though his word says what it's going to do. If you do what he say, then if you do what he say do and you obey his commandments, then the blessings. If you don't, then the curses. You cannot change. We can't change Yahweh. We have to change us to follow him so he can protect us. And so then they will then instead of us being in dread and fear of our lives, they will be, okay, because they will be afraid to touch us. Yah has the power to do that, but we must do our part. Nevertheless, we do have hope because Yeshua is coming back and it's close. But I want to get back to what I was talking about. I want to get back to our home, going into the land of Africa. You can pray because again, this land, we can pray and have that done. Listen, this land is saturated with those who hate us, right? And I know all it says because all the other nations are hateful towards us, right? But in the Bible backs it up. Right? So, but this nation that's in ruling the whole earth right now, which is the European nations, aka the West, the rule of earth, they are used by Satan as his military might to destroy us. They dominate by their population in the U.S. Even just the population alone, they outnumber us. They outgun us, everything. But the infrastructure, the media is set up for them so they can dirty us up in the media and protect them in the media. The everything, the weapons, they make us look dangerous. So if they weaponize themselves and they use the weapons on us unjustly, it's justified. The courts are set up so the judges and the courts are set up to protect them and bring harm to us. Even when they put blacks in positions, it's still they pick and choose the ones who they know that's going to carry out their will, right? Let's say, for an example, Clarence Thomas. It's funny that his name is Thomas and he's a Tom. See how Abba Yah do that? See how Abba Yah, he already know what you're going to be, so you end up coming in the family name Thomas, right? He's a Tom, which they call a Tom, basically is a bootlicker, a bootlicking black person that's basically what you call an enemy of his own people. Anyway, the infrastructure here, where the judges, the police, the military, the FBI, the CIA, every agency is set up to protect the rich and powerful first, which will be most of the white race and the white race, and set up to hate us and destroy us, the black race, aka Hebrew Israelites, right? This infrastructure. But if you leave here and you go to only place in the world where you have us, where you have people that look like us, even though they may be the children of Hamites, and our people who are still scattered throughout, they're in such large numbers that that infrastructure can't be. The media is not in the 54 countries in the motherland, Africa. The media, right, is not run by whites. The militaries, they're little militaries, and they don't have military might as the European nations, but their military and their police are not run by whites, right? And they have no interest in dividing by us by color. Why? Because we're the same color that they are. So basically, you may deal with some classism or whatever, but you're not going to be targeted as a lesser being that you could kill and do whatever you want to just based on your visual appearance, which brings you down to African American, black. It puts you in the group we're Hebrew Israelites. They don't want to use that term. They might want to put the black Hebrew Israelites. There is no such thing. Hebrew Israelites are black. So if you say the black Hebrew Israelites, I don't identify myself as that. We don't identify as that because Hebrew Israelites are black, period. I mean, which they are. We have melanin and we're dark in our skin. Now we come in different. We could be light skin or brown skin, but overall, you can identify us by our features that we are Hebrew Israelites, aka black people, aka African Americans. So anyway, over on the continent, you do not have to be concerned with the infrastructure being against you. The courts, the police department, the judges, right? The all the central intelligence agencies. You don't have to worry about the local police departments, the military, none of that, because it's ran by black people, even up to those who run the country, the presidents, okay, their parliaments or Congress, you know, all of that, all of those people are melanated people, right? So what that does is that moves. Now it's going to be some other issues maybe, but what that does, that moves that weapon that Satan has, which is color, which is melanin. It removes that. It takes that. That's a weapon. It takes it out of Satan's hand. So if you could relocate and go back home, and if you can't, you can, because you can ask Abba Yah to make a way for you. Yahshua, when he gathers, right, he's still going to gather because it's from the four quarters of the earth. Those who he's going to gather wherever you are. So you can ask Yah to make a way for you and pray and ask him, right? You ask him. He has the power to do all things. So just, we do not have to stay here. We do not have to stay here. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Like I said in my last video, I'm not marching. I'm not getting into none of that stuff. I don't really care. I don't care to, make any changes or make any changes here, things to get better. I pray for our people. I love our people and those who love us, right? And my goal is to get our people to start thinking it's time to leave. Separate, right? And I'm talking about from those who hate us. Not separate just based on the color. No, separate from those who hate us. Let them have it. They don't want us to live in peace among them. So separate from them. That's all I'm saying. And I don't understand, and I'm gonna close out, but I don't understand how our own people have a problem with that. Our people, who I'm talking about Hebrew Israelites too, the Messiah, he gonna gather us. We going back into Africa, like we going in there and we're not supposed to. Come on now, we already got the other 10 tribes still already in Africa, right? And the movement, because we are going in droves, the movement, who you think is causing that to happen? Y'all, he going to judge this place. He's going to judge America, right? Getting us out the way. It got to be judged. This country got to be the descendants of those who took our ancestors' board. They got to pay the same way we had to pay with our ancestors. Yeah, they got to pay for what their ancestors did. We had to pay for what our ancestors did. They're going to have to pay. Why? Because Yah he loves justice. It's in the word. He loves justice. He is just, right? So the same way they benefited from what their ancestors did was wrong, they got the blessings of ill-gotten gains, right? They have had it easy because of our bloodshed. And every white person or European in this country has benefited because of what happened to us. So Yah, be it that we're the apple of his eye, be it that he allowed that to happen and they went too far with it, be it that he is Yah, he's going to do what his word says. He says that those that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. It's going to happen. He's going to turn it around. So the same way we got judged, nobody really cared. Oh yeah, we got judged. Well, this nation is, and all the nations that was involved are going to be judged. So as we move out the way, because think about it now. Think about it. When our ancestors left Egypt, what happened? They got it. They got it. They got it. Y'all brought it to them. So, but we were out of the way, right? Right. So, um, they did wake up to the devastation that already happened, and a lot of it before we left. Like now, the devastation is happening through that pandemic before we leave. The devastation had already started in Egypt, um, even down to the firstborn. That was the jump off point when they was like, okay, just leave. We can't take no more, right? But y'all drowned them in the sea, and a lot of things went down. You read the Book of Wisdom, a lot more had happened. I mean, he burnt up the crowd. It was a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna just stop right here, and I'm just saying that we are to first love Yah with all our heart and all our soul, and then love each other as we love our own self, and look to Yah. Um, what's wrong with going back home into the land from which we were stolen? That is at least a step towards some relief. It's not the end all be all, but if you can do it, be a blessing even probably to your children until Messiah come and correct all things. Well, hallelujah. Thank you, y'all, and enjoy the rest of your day.